Decision 2020, our candidate interviews resume now with a focus on the 119th Assembly District race. Major party candidates, we welcome Democratic incumbent Marianne Buttenschon here into our studio to go through some of the questions that you want answers to before you vote. Early voting beginning on Saturday. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's great to be here.
I'm going to run through some of these topics that have been probably asked of you a number of times, but our voters really do want to know these things. Flooding.
Yes.
Flooding, it's been a persistent problem, the most notable being the Halloween floods of last year. And in the days, weeks, months following, we even heard from the governor saying, we need financial help from the federal government. If this happens again and FEMA says no, what do you do on a state level to address the long-term recovery needs of flood victims, some of whom have lost everything on more than one occasion?
Well, the first step was I had the opportunity to pass the Inland Waterways Bill, which opens up the opportunity to so many as flooding comes forward. So what this legislation primarily did, again, is ensures that the groundwork or the foundation is there for those individuals in need. But as you can see, we are very fortunate right now with the Sequoia Creek Commission that goes through so many different jurisdictions where individuals in Whitesboro have the opportunity now to look at a buyout. So I am working with the commission to ensure that all individuals that are interested in this are heard and that applications are fulfilled.
Bail reform, what are your views on bail reform laws as they stand right now? What amendments, if any, would you make? And how do you fight a downstate majority that seems resistant to changing the laws?
And this is a major issue. So the first step was to bring our district attorney, our sheriff, and administrative judge to Albany, which I did, to have them meet with our leadership so that they could explain the concerns that they see locally so that we can address it on a local level. So through that meeting that was established, insight was brought forward in regards to what type of offenses need to be placed within the legislation. So I've proposed various bills, as well as the importance for judicial discretion. As you see within affording those courts the opportunity to make that discretion in regards to what individuals need. So we find that this is an ongoing issue. There was legislation that was brought forward again this session that clearly didn't fit our community, so it is something that I could not support.
Sales tax revenue has plummeted because of the coronavirus pandemic. Tough budget decisions will have to be made. What entities, agencies, or organizations better prepare to have their state funding slashed or eliminated altogether?
Well, we've seen it, and it's very concerning. It's something that as the majority conference meets, as well as my conversations with the governor's office, is to take a look at the importance of not ensuring that these cuts do not come forward. We've seen cuts to our AIM funding, which is our towns and villages already. We have seen cuts to BOCES. So these are very crucial at 20% and are clearly unacceptable at this point. As you have discussed the importance of the lack of sales tax revenue, we have to ensure that our local governments have the ability to function.
Will there be entities that will not receive state funding in the years to come?
The other aspect that we have seen is our 501c3s have come forward, and as they come forward, we are bringing this information to the executive level to ensure that these bills can be paid.
There have been a couple dozen executive orders from the governor during this pandemic. At this point, we are not fully reopened. Where is the line between having to act quickly and having checks and balances with the state legislature?
Yeah, and clearly when we move into an emergency, we need a leader. But I have worked with Senator Griffo, and we have put legislation forward that after 30 days, we need to reconvene and clearly look at what we're seeing and what needs to be done. In addition, we have asked that every agency provide a weekly check-in with a report that identifies what's being done. Because at the height of the pandemic, as it initially evolved and we saw the rising crisis, It is important to ensure that someone is there. But as time has gone on, we need checks and balances. And that is what this legislation does.
Again, Democratic incumbent Marianne Buttenschon in the 119th district race. After the break, the Republican challenger John Zielinski joins us.